Where did the time go? We're already 3 months into 2023, but today we're taking a step back to 2022 because Sonic fans have a very good reason to rejoice. The journey has been rough for the Sega mascot, who spent most of this millennium as a laughingstock, but last year has had the best year in quite some time. I want to talk about what this means for the rest of 2023 and beyond, so let's begin speculating as we take a brief trip down memory lane and celebrate the world's favorite chili dog eating Aranation Day. I hope I said that right. June 28th, 1991 was the day that changed Sega forever. Sonic's first game released on the Genesis and turned the fledgling company into a success story, even outselling Nintendo briefly. It wasn't until the mid-2000s, long after Sega left the console business, when Sonic's stock started to fall. With the Sonic Adventure series being the obvious exception, 3D Sonic games were downright dismal, with each succeeding title getting worse and worse reviews. Long loading times, glitches galore, and the need to constantly add new characters no one really asked for were not helping their cause, and Sonic's brand suffered because of it. As internet culture grew, so did the memes that started to include much more ridicule and mockery for the blue blur, with Sonic Boom being the culmination. Fast forward to 2020 and the movie release of Sonic the Hedgehog, which could have had a very different result. It was a resounding success, earning $320 million worldwide and easily becoming the most successful video game film in North America. This also opened a trend that's so prevalent nowadays, as we see so many other gaming franchises adapting into films and TV with varying degrees of success. In January 2022, Sega announced some big things were planned for Sonic, and it looks like they actually delivered this time, much to my surprise. Let's start with the Sonic movie sequel, which wasn't groundbreaking, but maintained that lovable quirkiness from the first, with more characters from the Sonicverse. Dr. Eggman once again stole the show, and I really hope Jim Carrey at least comes out of retirement to make these films. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 beat its predecessor to become the new highest grossing video game film in North America. I think Sonic 2 legitimized how successful these franchises can be on the big and small screens, and more importantly proved the Sonic brand is not as tarnished as many people might have thought. Sonic Frontiers released late in November 2022 and was billed as the first open-world video game for the Sega mascot. While the game has been criticized, the overall reception has been pretty positive. Fans and critics alike praise the music, visuals, and open-world concept, which has even earned comparisons to Breath of the Wild, which is not bad at all. Frontiers is as good as advertised, which is more than I've ever said about any Sonic game in quite a while. This game proved not only that the Sonic Adventure series was not a fluke, but that Sega can actually construct a successful 3D Sonic title in the current times. Sonic Prime is the latest animated TV series, which released in December 2022 on Netflix. Think of Prime like that quirky 1980s show Quantum Leap, but with Sonic instead. Now I've breezed through the first season and it feels eerily similar to the OG Sat-AM Sonic series of the 1990s, because of the overall darker tone, the timely comedic moments, and the freedom fighter storyline. The biggest difference is the introduction of the multiverse, which is a huge part of pop culture right now. Sonic Prime is not going to win any Emmys anytime soon, but the premise is intriguing enough and is a step in the right direction, especially compared to the previous series. 2022 was a monumental year for Sonic and showed that he is still very popular, so what can we expect from him in 2023 and beyond? Let's first talk about what we do know, which is the ever-growing SCU. There is a Knuckles-centric TV series set to air this year on Paramount Plus, with Idris Elba returning as the famed Echidna. Now, I appreciated Elba's portrayal of Knuckles in Sonic 2, and you can expect him to bring that same bumbling, dorky character with a tough exterior to the small screen. While we don't know if Sonic or Tails will appear, I still think the series will be a fun ride nonetheless, especially if you've enjoyed the movies up to this point. On to the third Sonic film that is slated to open in 2024, with Shadow playing a major role. I think this will be an interesting test on how far the SCU can go, because he will be the first of the newer blood of characters to play a big role in the movie franchise. It makes sense, because Shadow is arguably the most popular character of the recent group, but I still can't help but wonder. Shadow, like Knuckles, is a major rival of Sonic, and an even better one at that. He not only looks just like the blue blur in every way possible, but he's just as fast and just as powerful. It depends on how they utilize Shadow, because if he serves as a major villain, then this movie could take a much darker route than the first two films, a la The Empire Strikes Back. Now on to speculation. I think we will see a Shadow movie or TV show that will dive into his origin story, because there is a lot of mystery behind him. If you've played Shadow the Hedgehog, then you know this game uncovers his past, and I can see it translating onto the big or small screen. One thing I would love to happen is to bring Metal Sonic into the SCU. He is an imposing antagonist that was quite the challenge for Sonic in the early video games, before Shadow took over that role. Hopefully they will revisit him in some future project, because it would be an interesting addition. As far as games go, Sonic Frontiers has been a huge hit, so expect several DLCs that expand the story and characters on the way. Actually, I believe there is already a roadmap of DLCs coming for 2023. As far as a true Frontier sequel, I just don't think Sega is focused on that right now, nor should they be. But it's not a stretch to assume one will happen much closer to the end of the 2020s. Who knows, maybe Sega could set up a new console for the future Frontier sequel to headline, which I have pushed for in a previous video if you want to check it out. Sonic showed all the skeptics, including myself, that he is back, and fans can now collectively and finally breathe a sigh of relief. Now, if you've got anything to say, I'd love to hear it and talk some more about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can send me an email, or you can find me on Twitter or Facebook. And no, one more thing. If you like what you're watching, feel free to subscribe by clicking that platypus to keep up with my latest videos. Thanks for watching, and stay nerdious.